Uh, Good evening, everyone. I'm Bimal Mishra, and today my colleague Jesus and I will be discussing an important issue in the digital world, protecting sensitive information and solving the problems that arise from privacy breaches.
Read on here to the next slide. Um, Thank you, Bimal. Let's start by addressing the core problem. The problem to be addressed is the widespread exposure of personal and organizational information. This exposure leads to significant financial harm and damages reputations, leaving individuals and organizations vulnerable to further risks. Our focus is on finding ways to better protect against these issues and threats, which are becoming increasingly common today.
Exactly, Jesus. To tackle this problem, our hypothesis centers around improving existing security measures. We believe that current systems don't account for emerging threats and that better solutions need to be implemented, especially focusing on every detection and stronger prevention mechanisms. If these gaps are addressed, the exposure of sensitive information can be minimized, reducing the overall risks to both individuals and companies.
And on here. Thank you, Bimal. Now let's take a moment to imagine what it would look like if we solved this problem. In a world where these breaches are no longer a threat, individuals and businesses would enjoy a peace of mind, knowing their information is secure. Financial losses would be minimized, and trust between organizations and their clients would be restored. A safer digital environment would allow for innovation to thrive without the constant fear of exposure.
Right. So how do we get there? Let's take a methodical approach to fully understand the problem. First, we look at how information is stored and protected. In many cases, outdated systems are still being used and they can't handle modern day threats. On top of that, there's a lack of proper training on how to manage and protect the sensitive information, which leads to vulnerabilities. And identifying these gaps is crucial to solving the issue.
Key metrics. That's a great point. Now let's talk about how we measure our progress. The key metrics for solving this problem include the reduction in exposure of incidents and the speed at which breaches are detected and resolved. Additionally, we will measure the effectiveness of new security protocols by tracking how many attempted breaches are successfully prevented. These metrics will help us gauge how well the new systems are performing.
Thanks, Jesus. Now let's talk about how we determine these factors. First, we look at the frequency and severity of exposure incidents. Then we consider the response time, how quickly teams can detect and address the potential breach. We also look at the user awareness factor, as trained employees and user can play a key role in preventing breaches by identifying suspicious activity early on. These factors together give us a clearer picture of what needs to improve.
Exactly. So to illustrate this, we have some visual example of metrics here. So here's how we measure these metrics with this graph. As you can see, the reduction in exposure incidents is tracked over time. This allows us to visually confirm whether our solutions are working effectively. The more the incidents decrease in frequency, the more confident we can be that our strategies are working.
Exactly. Now let's move to the system model. That's a great example, Jesus. Let's look at a bigger picture. We have built a model that shows the entire system we are working within. This includes the flow of information, the points where exposure is most likely to happen, and the defenses we have put in place to protect against this risk. The model helps us visualize where improvements are needed and how the different parts of the system interact.
Thank you. So, analysis results. So based on the system model, we've conducted a thorough analysis. The current state shows that while some areas are well protected, others have significant vulnerabilities. These are often the result of outdated software or inadequate user training. By addressing these weak points, we can greatly improve our overall security. Here's a breakdown of our analysis results, including included in the visuals we've seen earlier. So here we can see the analysis results in this slide.
Let's move on to the solution options. So what are our options for solving the problem? First, we could upgrade security systems across the board, ensuring that the latest technologies are in place to prevent breaches. Another option would be to implement more rigorous user training programs so employees and our users are better equipped to identify threats early. A combination of both is likely the best approach for long-term success.
We could move on here to a feasible solution. All of the options, we've concluded that most feasible solution is to upgrade the security infrastructure while simultaneously investing in comprehensive training programs. This ensures that both technology and people are working together to prevent breaches. By reinforcing both aspects, we can create a much more secure environment.
Let's move on to the data that supports the decision we made. Studies show the organization with the latest security measures in place reduce the risks of exposure up by 80%. Additionally, companies that invest in employee training see a 60% decrease in accidental breaches. These numbers confirm that the combination of updated technology and training will lead to a much stronger defense against breaches.
Yeah, that's very convincing. So implementation strategy. Now, how we put this plan into action. Our implementation strategy involves a phased approach. First, we'll start with upgrading the most vulnerable systems. Simultaneously, we'll roll out the training program, starting with key staff who manage sensitive information. Over time, the training will extend to all employees, ensuring that everyone is aware of all the risks and how to prevent them.
Now let's move on to ethical considerations. It's important to note that as we implement these solutions, we must ensure that they are ethically sound. For example, protecting personal information is not just a legal requirement, but also a moral responsibility. Our solutions are designed with this in mind, making sure that individual privacy is respected while ensuring the security of organization as a whole.
So moving on here to Christian values. Our final point ties everything together with Christian values. The solution we've proposed is rooted in the virtues of integrity and stewardship. We believe that by protecting people's private information, we are acting as responsible stewards of the resources entrusted to us. This aligns with the Christian worldview, which emphasizes the importance of training others, treating others' information with respect and care.
So in conclusion, we believe this approach will significantly reduce exposure risks while upholding the ethical and moral standards that are crucial in today's world. Thank you so much. And on our next slide, we have all the references that are mentioned. Thank you so much.